let's see if we get this set up correctly. Let's see how this goes. Good freaking Friday morning, everyone. Let's see if we get the whole setup going. I'm running a bit behind, a couple minutes behind, but I had to go get coffee. I didn't have any coffee. Sometimes I get it and put it in the fridge the night before. Sometimes I make some at the house. I didn't have any coffee this morning, so I had to go get some coffee. Good freaking Friday morning, everyone, and welcome right here to Friday Morning Magic, the most fun you can have on a Magic the Gathering live stream on this channel at this moment in time. I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. If you're here for Friday Morning Magic, if you're here for any of the stuff we're going to talk about, or if you're just here to hang out and start your day off the right way, let me know in the chat. It's always great to hear from you guys as I set up some of the last second audio that we got going on here and try to get that rolling, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, get the audio going. Let's see if we can get some background music going. Let me know about background music levels, how you guys are feeling about that. I got to pull up the chat so I can see each and every one of you and all of your beautiful faces and your beautiful messages as we kick things off. And we have quite the live stream to talk about today. I am excited. I cannot wait. And I want to say good morning to everybody. Yoko, I see you in chat. Good morning, Yoko. I'm pulling up the chat right now, so I will get to your messages in 1 second here. Popping out the chat. Devin, my chin. Good morning. Liberty Jones, good morning. Uncle Chris, happy freaking Friday. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to talk about a lot of things today. We have a lot on the menu. We have Lord of the Rings, new cards we have to talk about. We have Pokemon 151 big release and how that relates to Magic the Gathering products. Do we see similar trends with the top 2 trading card games? What that means for Magic the Gathering and the future of Magic the Gathering. David Bagg, welcome. We have David Bagg jumping in already as a regular enthusiast on the stream, joining the channel membership. What is up, David? Welcome. That is the first channel membership of the day. David, welcome to the crew. I hope you enjoy the exclusive content and everything we have going on here. This is going to be a lot of fun. I got to be honest with you. Good morning, Ordiner. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. Josh Smith, channel member, tuning in always disrupting the stream in the best possible way. Josh Smith, big shout out. Shout out again. Yoko, good morning. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's Disney Lorcana news. The homie, the buddy, Louie over at Kitchen Table TCG made a Disney Lorcana video we have to talk about because it has to do with something that's extremely important to the game. The fact that you can't seal the boxes. I think that's very important to talk about. Like I said, we got Pokemon 151 and what it means for Magic the Gathering. Let me know if you're tracking or interested in the Pokemon information at all. I think stuff like this is important because I do believe it has an effect on the greater trading card game ecosystem when both Magic the Gathering and Pokemon see any kind of flaws or falters going on. I think that has a massive effect on everything that we see and do and enjoy as people who like to sling some cardboard. But I want to start today with a little bit of let's call it, I don't want to call it just straight up story time, but let's call it we'll call it a tale, which is essentially just story time. But like, listen, let's not mince words about when I'm right and when I'm wrong. I had a work event last night. And so if you saw the link, I got to jump on a stream with the MTG Roundtable. It was a lot of fun, but I had a work event last night and we had to go, we went golfing. And like, listen, golfing can be a lot of fun. I'm down to swing a golf club here and there. But it was one of those events, man. I was just feeling like I want to get home to my family. I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get out of here. And I'm going to get so much stuff done when I get home. And I got home. I left the work event. I swung a golf club. I did my thing. It was great. You know, you schmooze, you interact, and I get home, and I had all this energy. And I had a belief in my soul, in my heart, in my dreams that I was going to get so much work for the channel done, and even some work for like regular work done. And then I sat on the couch, and I watched YouTube. I watched Rudy. I watched Kitchen Table TCG. And I didn't do a whole lot else. And I just sat there. And so this morning, I woke up feeling a bit like blah, feeling kind of eh. And then I remembered it's Friday Morning Magic and I got a ton of energy. So like out of nowhere. I got up, I made my daughter an egg, my wife heated up some pancakes, we got breakfast going, got them sent off to their various schools, and now here we are, and I am just jazzed up. So if I seem like I'm coming with a little extra spice this morning, it's because I'm dealing with the swings of the energy this morning. So how are you guys doing? How's everyone's morning? As we pull up some data here, we get ready to get started. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know, mic check, background music check. Let me know how all of that is looking. If you haven't liked the stream, it helps spread the stream to more viewers. But let's kick things off by looking for some Lord of the Rings spoilers. So I'm going to answer, let's get this poll answered, the early poll for all of you. Let's see what the result was. Let's see, tuning in, checking out the poll. The result of the poll, lots of work went into this one. This is because of the Pokemon 151 data. Can the stream get a like? 92% of you giving me the yes. The 92%ers throwing me the yes. 7% are you like, nah, screw you. Get out of here. Get out of here. So no, I love some golf. I love me some golf. It can be a good time. I got very into golf during the pandemic in 2020 season. I used to play basketball on the weekends, and I was looking for something to do. So me and my old man and my uncle picked up golf because they let you do that because it was outside. So we just started golfing. And I'm a terrible golfer, and I'm very tall, so clubs don't fit me. But anyway, all of that aside, it's time to look for some Lord of the Rings spoilers. So let's find these cards. I have a link here sent by a buddy that I think I want to go over today. I also think we have a link from the chat that I'm in with Louis that we use for various things like the podcast. So I really want to talk about stuff like this. Let's see if I can find this link. In the meantime, are you guys hyped with the new Lord of the Rings news? I think there's a lot of things that we did not expect, to be honest with you. There's some surprises in this. Or is this something that, listen, it's not for you, you're not feeling it? Are we just over Lord of the Rings? Because I could see a situation where we are. Robert's Table, good morning. Golfing is good times, better with libate. Yes. I like to say that I'm an avid drinker who golfs sometimes. Here we go. We got the IGN article. While we're at it, channel member Jim Williams sent me the IGN article, so shout out to Jim Williams. Let's pop on over and let's see if we can. Oh, we're playing. There's a video. This is why I don't like IGN. There's a video. Let's pop on over. Let's get this thing centered and get us going with a little bit of video here. So get this thing plop dead center and read some of this article. Check out some of these cards. All right, here's what we got going on. Our member goal, by the way, as we pop over to the screen, as you can see, is absolutely smashed this week. You guys have crushed the member goal. You guys rock. I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. I can't believe 5 channel members this week. We shoot for 3 a week. We're up to 5, and that might actually be 6 with David joining in. I don't know if that had jumped out. If you haven't considered yet, check it out. But let's get into the Lord of the Rings scene boxes. And I don't know, I guess we could do without the iPhone and T-Mobile advertisement. We can probably just, you guys all know you're on Hometown TCG, right? We can cover this up. Let's go over some of what we see here. All right. So if you hadn't caught it yet, oh wow, we still didn't get the whole thing in there. Lord of the Rings is released, and we are getting special scene boosters. And here is a sneak peek to the scene boosters. And I want to get all of your initial reactions in chat. When this was sent to me, I'm going to show you. We got chat over my face. We got chat flying over our faces. Chat needs to go up there. What are we doing? What are we doing, chat? I had an initial reaction, and I want to see who else had this reaction. So these cards are placed in front of you. You see them. And the initial reaction I had was this. I thought, oh man, are these double-sided full art foil cards? Because if so, sorcery's making waves, right? I thought for myself for a split second, I was like, oh man, This is Sorcery's out here making waves. We're printing double-sided art Magic cards that are tournament playable, but it was, alas, not to be. Let's kind of click through the card gallery here before we get into anything, too specific. And let's see what we got going on. Let's see what these things look like. So what we have here is we have, as we see on the bottom, we have the regular cards that we are going to get. These are the foil scene cards that are going to come in these bundles, and these look amazing. The scene cards that Magic the Gathering does, they do an incredible job. These are beautiful pieces of art, and people have taken to them in ways that I did not predict. I thought they would do well. I was like, hey, putting something like here, putting something in a binder and like making pages and showing it off is like, it's super fun. People like doing this. No matter what we think, people like doing that. So the scene cards were going to be a win in that regard. But people gravitated to it in ways that I did not expect. And we see why. Like, they're extremely beautiful. But what we have in the background here is really what blows my mind. These are apparently like art cards that come with the product that you can use to display what the scene is supposed to be, which is just a cool win. Like, if Wizards of the Coast is gonna do art cards, right, this is the way to do them. This is 100% the way that these art cards need to be done. The only, and again, let me stress this, I'm being picky. This is being picky. The only thing I could say is like the in-thing holders look kind of lame. Like, from afar, they look like they're fine, but they got these little flaps sticking out, and like, see how the cards, they're like precariously balanced on the edges with the spaces. And again, in fairness, if this comes in just some cardboard box, if you really love this thing, you can put together a new way to hold them or organize them. I'm 100% being picky here. That would be my only critique. The rest of it looks fantastic, and I think this is a major win. This is a great use of the art card. Let's see what you guys are saying. Robert thinks they are interesting. Card design is good. Art is solid. I think the art is fantastic. We dunk on Magic the Gathering a lot. They need a little bit more credit for their art, in my opinion. There's some powerful, unique cards, says Yoko. 100%. We're going to, as we flip through this, we're going to get, and then we're going to read some of the article, but some of this stuff is going to make serious waves. Auditor says they're just releasing too much in general. It's impossible to keep up. So that is I mean, listen, it's a major concern, but as we embrace the like, hey, block out what I don't care about, embrace what I do, I think it will get easier. But I could see that, and listen, that's a very common criticism from the community, and 100% something I can get. Yoga says Saruman is getting a card that suspends all your instant sorcerers free cast again 3 turns later. That with timey-wimey Doctor Who will be popular. The IP crossover is going to be pretty funny to see, like Doctor Who / Lord of the Rings Commander decks. That's going to be really funny. Josh Smith is ordered, but I agree with the Wizards way now, unless they're a huge shake-up leadership. It might be this way. It might be this way forever. I also like to say, listen, nothing lasts forever. But let's get into some of the other details here. So here we have kind of the boxes. It's important to note, like, listen, they look thinner, and not to preview a topic from later too super early, but they don't look wrapped, and they look like just perforated along the edge. They look, is that a Scoopy? Is Wizards of the Coast not wrapping their scene bundles? Scoopy? That would be what wild times. Okay. Let's keep going through here. Let's keep going. Oh, don't blow up Wizards. Let's keep going through. So they do look thin. They look thin. I like how they picked like the most majestic background too. Like, look at that background. They just picked the most like, oh look, it's an old-timey bookcase. Like, this goes here. So here we have an up close version of one of the things, and oh, hold on. Is it wrapped? It might be wrapped. That might be plastic up at the top there. It might be crisis averted. Look, maybe they didn't consult Ravensburger on how to print a product, which, absolute win for them. Nick, good morning. Good morning, Nick. All right. So here we have we get into kind of the card specific. So each of these scenes is based around a character. So the scene has a central focus, and the character is that central focus. Here we have Gandalf, the Secret of Fire. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell from your hand during an opponent's turn, exile that card with 3 time counters on it. If as it resolves, then the exiled card doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. So you suspend all your instants and sorceries. Yeah, like, listen, this is a pretty fun commander. It only works on your opponent's turn. Jeskai Land Go in Commander is already a thing, so this is gonna slide right in. But as far as like being overpowered, like instant sorcery interaction tribal, not always the best, you know, especially on any kind of budget. So I think this is definitely a more fun commander than we're giving it credit for. Do not come to me for CEDH advice. If you're coming here for CEDH advice, you are utilizing this channel and this content incorrectly. I wish I could help you. I'm building a Pioneer Prowess deck because I really want to see how Questing Druid slots into that archetype, and does it push it over the edge? I just need to find an answer to Nykthos and Sheoldred, but not my thing when it comes to Commander. So Gandalf is, again, that looks like a lot of fun. I don't know how to say this. I stressed about this before the stream. I'm going to go with Olorin. I stressed about this. Pronunciations are tough. I stressed about this one. This instance says, each opponent exiles a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. If there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, it deals damage equal to each opponent, or to each opponent equal to the power of the creatures they exiled. You know, listen, wide removal, not quite mass removal, but wide removal at instant speed. I think this is a fun card. I like the design, and this just takes me back. Wizards deserves a little bit more credit for their design. Like, I know this is Commander. I know it's not my bread and butter, but they deserve a bit of credit here. Like, this card looks cool. This card looks cool. All right. The Sorceress Squall for the 9-mana sorcery, but with Delve. Delve making an appearance here. One of the more powerful mechanics that we've seen. Target opponent mills 9 cards, then you may cast an instant sorcery spell from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So again, target opponent. So you can't target yourself here. Interesting card. I mean, the Delve definitely works. It helps it out. 3 blue makes it a bit sketchy. A bit sketchy on the sketchy side, but still a super fun card in Commander. You pick your target wisely here. Maybe someone who's already got something to the graveyard. It's not dependent on what you mill. Ramaskar, Ancient Shield, the legendary artifact. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card, then create the walls. So listen, second spell each turn, draw a card. You're going to need something to keep that hand full when you're playing Gandalf. You're casting all these cards. Like, this makes sense. And the art on this one is probably the most boring of the bunch. But, like, listen, the castle's got to be in there somewhere. So this is where we're slapping it. This is just where we're slapping it, okay? At the beginning of your turn, your comment, creature called gain Defender, gain Exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, like, yes. And this is a neat little card. And the Courageous Resolve. This art by itself, and this is maybe some of the problems with the art cards. Like, when you put them all together, we'll move back up to the Courageous Resolve here in a second, but when you put them together, like, beautiful scene, gorgeous scene, but, like, some of the art on these art cards is gonna have to be a bit lame, right? It's gonna have to be a bit late. Uncle Chris, did you just type the actual name and say, I think it's pronounced this way, and just retype the same name? If so, that's hilarious, and I appreciate that. Cheers. We haven't done a caffeine cheers because we're going through these spoilers. That's right. That's right. Hold on, chat. Hold on. Nope, hold on. I'm an adult with a YouTube channel in his own basement, not my mom's basement. It's my basement, and I'm drinking my iced coffee with a straw today. We're teaching my daughter that every time she drinks water, she tips a little cup up to her face, she pulls it away, she finds me, she looks at me, and she goes, it's the cutest thing in the ever-loving world, I swear to God. All right. Sorry, distracted with story time. Back to the Courageous Resolve. Up to 1 target creature control gains protection from each of your opponents until the end of the turn. Draw a card. Like, listen, protection from each of your opponents is cool. This being on the stack is something there's gonna be a lot of pressure to deal with this bad boy on the stack. Oh, sorry. Let's finish this card. Fateful Hour. If you have 5 or less life, you can't lose this turn. You can't lose the game this turn. Your opponents can't win the game. I mean, listen, cool card, super situational, decent art. Robert's Table makes a good point. Little nipperoonie. Hopefully next time you see this channel, I will have gotten a haircut and trimmed my beard, because this is, it's getting a bit outrageous. But back to what's most important. The cards at hand, Fell Beast's Shriek. So again, anytime you see a 2-mana sorcery, instant or sorcery, is it colors, you're like, I get a little attention. Each opponent chooses a creature control, tap and goad the chosen creatures. Goad is a mechanic, like, it's fine. It's just not something, it's never been super fun to me. It's never been something that I'm like, oh, so glad to see goad on this. Like, it's just not something that jumps off. But it does have splice onto instant sorcery, which harkens me back to some of my favorite times in Magic, playing Gifts Ungiven during original Kamigawa block, and you're splicing onto Arcane all over the place, and you're fogging and you're Hanakamiing to bring cards back. Oh, and you're sacking Kakusho with Beseiju. All of these things are just such good things in Standard at the time, which, by the way, some of these core memories come from Standard, which might be why I'm so avid to bring Standard back, and it's a fight and a hill that I will just die on. But man, like, splice onto things is a cool mechanic. It seems very balanced. It's not super overpowered. You have to build up a giant mana engine to make real use of it. Yoko, we are not getting into the Fred Durst thing. Moving on to the next card. I got so much crap for not knowing who Fred Durst was. I got crushed in the comment section. Thank you all for that. So this is what the scene looks like overall, and listen, having the character be a centralized portion of the scene, again, this is a win here. The weirdness is, like, you get the Sorceress Squall, that art on its own with kind of like the dragon wing just on the bottom is a little bit, it's a little bit iffy. And you got the Rammus art, which is, it's fine. We've seen worse art for cards like this, but what I'm trying to say is, like, the scene is cool. I love the idea of the scene. It does create for some unique single card art. This is, you guys are going to derail this stream before we ever get started, and I freaking love it. This is why right here I love Friday Morning Magic. You see, even Josh Smith, the perma derailer of the stream, he who derails all the streams, is keeping us on track. That's Yoko. That's how you know you're out of line. You're out of line. Gosh darn it. Order said, I saw Star City hosting a 10K standard tournament. Listen, I bet they're getting a lot of support from Wizards. Let's keep pushing through. What we see here again, woo, maybe it is just perforated box. Is the drama back? Is the drama back? Did Wizards not realize how to seal their boxes? Oh my God. If these boxes aren't sealed, I know, listen, my homie Louis he's one of my closest friends. I love the man to death. He's got 2 daughters and is busy with his family, so he's not going to be in morning streams. So I can say this. I'm going to parody his Trove video 100%. If these only have perforated edges. If these don't have plastic seals on them, I'm going to parody, and it will get no views because nobody knows what I'm talking about. But oh my goodness, I'm going to do it. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. All right, moving on to the next scene. Let's dig into with the Galadriel Light of Valador. Listen, I don't know Lord of the Rings lore. It's hard to say some of the cities, some of the places they come from, realms, if you will. I have been very open about that. Scruffy Looking Gaming, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Like, listen, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Keith Foster, LGS owner, good freaking morning. Good morning, everyone. Cheers to people jumping in. Let's jump into Galadriel. I just want to say Galadriel. I know it's wrong. Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Like, listen, little Bant ramps, never a bad thing. Little Bant counters. Scry 2, draw a card. It says draw a card on it. It's really hard not to just pick that mode. It says draw a card. This is listen, good Bant commander. I like the theme. I like the flavor here. I like that it sits within the color pie. Yes. Robert says it correctly. This is as bant as a card gets. 100%. I could get behind that. Let's see what else we got. We got the dismissal. Ooh, kicker. What's that other Magic video that flows around? Everything's just kicker. Everything is just kicker with different stuff. You pay more, you get extra thing. Everything in Magic is just kicker. It's an instant for 1, can be kicked for an additional 3. Target creature phases out. The spell is kicked. Each creature target player controls phases out. That's kind of cool. I mean, listen, Yori on Blink stuff is always fun. Another good time in Standard. Like, look at me. Also, can we still talk about the fact that they banned Yorion in Modern because people struggled to shuffle the deck? That was the official reason. Like, I get it. If slow play, but like, you can't document the official reason people struggle to shuffle the deck. Ugh. All right, hold on. I'm not getting down that rabbit hole. This card looks cool. I like the versatility. 1 white mana. Like, listen, white's been getting some powerhouses in Commander. There's no secret behind there. The Galadrim Brigade. It's got squad. Oh my god. It's got squad. It's also got kicker. It's an elf soldier. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may pay an additional 1 any number of times with this creature. It's got multi-kicker. It's just multi-kicker. That's all it is. When this is the battlefield, create that many tokens that are copies of it, and it's a lord. Other elves get +1/+1. This is just multi-kicker. It's just multi-kicker. Also, this is pretty bant. And, like, this is a cool elf lord. An elf lord that can be replicated with, you know, what elves do best. Elves make a ton of mana. Like, that card's cool. Arboreal Alliance. It's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create a big tree folk or small tree folk. I guess create whatever kind of tree folk you can afford. Like, it's a very economically sound and friendly tree folk. Whenever you attack with 1 more elves, populate. Create a token of the creature that's the token you control. I mean, gosh, this is just as bant as it gets, isn't it? Like, it's like bant elf tribal, which I mean, I guess isn't too off base. Like, thematically with the Galadriel, it makes sense, but like, Rally the Galadrim. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control and conspire. As you cast a spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. When you do, copy it, and you may choose a new target for the copy. All these cards in this one just make sense right now. Like, I'm feeling these make sense. And I know we're getting into Pokemon sales data, but like, this product is very like Pokemon-esque, it feels like. Mists of Lorien Replicate. It's 3 in sorcery for 3, 2 and a blue. When you cast a spell, copy for each time you paid its replicate cost. It's just kicker. Return target non-land permanent you control each other permanent with the same mana value that permanent to its owner's hands. It's just kicker. All right, and this is the scene. Like, the scenes that are made by some of these cards are just, oh, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Moving on. This is what we're looking at, and this is kind of, again, this is unfair criticism. I'm being unfair. I'm telling you that I'm being unfair. I'm just trying to like find something to be picky about. I think this product's good. It feels like a Pokemon product, and that's not a negative statement. It feels like something that is going to get people engaged, and it's really sweet. This could have used a bit of work, it seems like. And again, I'm being critical. I'm being a pain. This could have used a little bit of work. Aragorn, Hornbug Hero. It's the Hornbug Hero? The Hornbug Hero. I guess. Attacking creatures you control at first strike and renown. There was a big article, and I think it was either Mark Rosewater or Gavin Verhey, I forget who did the. Yes, Yoko. I know. I was being ironical. Attacking creature you control at first strike. There was they did an article, and again, I forget which Magic personality it was. They did an entire series about this, like, about first strike and first strike as a mechanic, and how first strike creates these stalemate board states, and how they wish first strike would have been like on attack. And this, I think, is something we're going to see a lot more of, and we have seen a lot more of recently, because this way you can't just like hold up this massive wall of blockers that are just goat. Oh no, I broke Yoko. I'm sorry. Yoko is such a dedicated viewer. I thought I was being funny and I didn't mean to break you. I'm sorry, my friend. Oh no. Oh no. It'll be okay. I promise. Hang in there. You got this. I believe in you. So first strike on attack is something. Whenever a renowned creature you control deals combat damage to a player, double the number of +1. Like that. Like, listen, I like this. This is thematic. It doesn't look like it leaves a ton of ways. It's a card design that's going to be used in the vein it was designed in. Let's see what else you got. Adriel Narsil Reforged. Now that one I don't know how to pronounce. That is not a meme. I just jacked that up. Ascend. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing. Oh yes, the city. I should start having a crown for this stream. You get the city's blessing, and like this is a cool card. Whenever creature attacks +1. So we got +1/+1 counter shenanigans. The reckless might. Creatures you control have haste. And listen, I'm all for haste. Formidable whenever you attack. If you control 8 power. Fight, pick off a creature. The Isengard Unleashed damage can't be prevented this turn, and it's got some flashback. Oh, and triple. It's another triple damager, like great in red. You love to see it. This card is presented as being kind of broken. I was excited to get to this one. Legolas's quick reflexes got split second. So listen, split second is a mechanic. It's a thing. It does create for some confusing judge situations. So at the commander table, we might start seeing some more Crows and Grip interactions and split-second weirdness. Untap target creature until the end of turn gains hexproof reach, and whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals damage equal to its power up to 1 target creature. Icecrown Scepter. That's how old I am. I'm like, I want to Icecrown Scepter this. Like, this card could be really impactful. Again, a 1-mana instant making its way into Commander's always a good. The Chargers, you may exert them. I've been watching a lot of Glorybringer. The channel Card Market does an awesome series where like it's the best deck of every era, and they all face off, and there's like Glorybringer decks, and I'm like, oh, Glorybringer is such a cool card. It just makes me smile. Whenever you exert a creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an equipment card. Put that card onto the battlefield. Commander equipment stuff. Like, listen, I'm not sold, but again, put it all together. The art is just so nice. This is, I think, the next box, but still, like, the art is just so nice. There you see the full art sitting in front. Now we got the Rich King Sky Surge, another commander flying. When it attacks with 1 or more race, exile at the top X cards of your library. Wraith Tribal, maybe? You know what I'm saying? It's got Undying. With X is the total power, you can play those cards this turn. And listen, we get an engine in this color. You get any kind of engine in Rakdos colors. It's cool. I love that it's on attack, so you're not just doing it for free. This is one of those art cards, right? We talked about, like, look, I understand that it's the mace, but if this was not in the art, if this was not an art card, the mace would be like front and center, not just like sticking out of the side of the mace. Like, this is where some of these things can be a little bit weird. That's one of them. Mortar on the March. Exile card from a graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, gains haste to the turn. Exile at the beginning of the next end step, and it has Storm. Listen, Storm shenanigans are cool. Don't at me. I played Dragon Storm too back in Standard. Wow. There's a lot of Standard stories going on today. Am I just old? Is Standard never coming back? Chat, hold on. It's time to ask. While we go through the last couple cards here, it's time to ask you guys. Is Standard ever coming back in paper? Am I just old? All right. There's the poll. I need 100% engagement. There's like 30 plus of you in here. Should have 30 plus votes. 30 plus votes on this poll. Is Standard ever freaking coming back? Don't make me a boomer. Don't make me just an old crotchety man. I'm having my coffee. I got my pinky up. I got my straw. We gotta keep going, but don't make me an old crotchety man. Call Forth of the Tempest, again, massive red card. Cascade. Andre Miguchi famously said, very skill-intensive mechanic. Very skill-intensive mechanic, Cascade. Oh, so here we have our first land of the bunch, and like, not bad art for a land. You don't hate to see this art for a land. Minas Morgul, Dark Fortress enters the battlefield tapped, so it is a tapped land. It adds a black mana. It is not a swamp. It says put a shadow counter on target creature, and when it's got shadow, for those who don't know, wait. It makes it a wraith, but Shadow says can block or be blocked by only creature with Shadow. Shadow's a mechanic. I don't know if we've seen much of. If there's recent iterations or examples of Shadow, let me know in the chat. This is a cool piece of, like, this is an example where the art card is not ruined by the art. You got the thing, it's front and center. It kind of reminds me of the, you know, something in Commander Masters we made a little bit of fun of, the portrait art, which I actually think is really cool, but we see a little bit of that going on here. Flying Devourer 1 and the Fell Beast enters the battlefield. It attacks, loses X, gain X, and X to the number of +1/+1 counters. Listen, that's a super thematic card. Like that, everything on that card just screams theme and screams kind of color pie. So that's the Witch King. Here we have what inside the box. In the back of the box, it's hard to tell. Oh, it's hard to tell. And oh my God, if they didn't seal their boxes. If they didn't seal their boxes, I swear to God, this is going to be the most pop-off video of all time. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff going on here. Here's the scenes again. This, if you set it up nice, it looks good. It just looks like it could tilt a bit. Here we see a nice. You get some things in these that I just, frankly, I don't understand. But here are the art cards, and I think this is a great use of the art cards. What we saw earlier, as we see kind of the scenes click through. There we go. The art cards that we see here are massive wins. You love to see this. And now I want to move on. Like, this is a good use of the art cards because people normally don't care. This is good. We only have another minute to go to the poll. There's only 19 votes. If you haven't voted, there's 30. There's 30 of you, and you guys are all rocking it. You're rocking it. But I gotta know. I need opinions. I need to know how you feel about these things before I tell you if I agree or disagree. And honestly, just engage with it. Just help me out. Just help me out, man. Just click the poll. Just pick a note and click the poll. That's all you gotta do. All I know is this is a great use of art cards, something that I am not high on. There's a lot of positivity on the stream so far. It's time to turn it the other direction. I don't like this treatment. I am Boomer. I am Boomer. I don't like I don't like this treatment. I don't like this treatment, and that's not to say that it's a bad treatment. I'm not saying it's bad treatment. I am saying it's just not for me. I love that I have that out. I love that I can just use that out. This treatment is just not for me. It's not something I'm interested in. I guess I'm interested. Am I just wrong on this one? I'm going to catch up with chat really quick while we put this treatment on screen. Colin says you can see the plastic. Colin, don't kill my dreams. Don't kill my parody video dreams. Yoko says, Wizards, the number of commander cards dedicated to the wasted resource support standard slowly but surely they kill it off to follow the numbers. Like, yeah. Orniter says, it's the same problem that I have with this. I can't stand this art. I just can't see it. I just can't see this art. Colin hates the art too, Led. Let's go. Keith Foster, LGS owner. I am Boomer King with most of my ancestors going to the U.S. first. Okay. All right, let's see the poll here. We got 24 votes. Listen, that's really good. You guys kind of crushed this poll. Let's see where we stand on this poll. I'm going to end it in about 5 seconds, but listen, this art's not for me, and the reason is the card is just really difficult for me to read, to be honest with you. It's really hard for me to understand what the heck is going on this card, so I struggle a bit with these ones, and, you know, hey, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. I got to know. Chad, I know, but I need this, Chad. Chad, look at me. I'm making YouTube videos in my basement. Again, I got a lot of comments. It was like a week and a half ago of like, look at this guy just being a wizard chill in his mom's basement. I was like, no, I'm in my own basement. Like, show some respect to the house that I own. I mean, it's not impressive, but it's not my mom's basement. It is my basement. Like, back off. And even if it was my mom's basement, the content is fun. So also back off. I don't know. I forgot where I was. I'm stuck on the basement thing. I've got like real life lag going on with the basement thing. These formats aren't for me, but we'll go ahead and click through them anyway. And like, listen, I could see the appeal. I can see the appeal here. I understand. It looks pretty neat. Like this, the Aragorn is probably the best example because it's got the name. without real focus, there's no way I know this says the Uniter. Like, there's not a chance that I know what this says without an extreme level of focus. But like here, this one is the most reasonable. It's a creature, it's got a name, it's got art, it's got text. My old man brain can comprehend what's going on here, but like not a chance. Like not a chance. Not a chance here. Like not a single chance that I understand what's going on this card. Is the art great? Is the design just cool and out of the box and really shaking things up? 100%. Am I too dumb to understand what's happening? Also 100%. Now, Nick, channel member, loves the art. I could see that. Art's fantastic. I have no idea what this card does. I have no clue. Like, it's not for me. I respect who it's for. And Nick, you are a channel member, so I will shout you out. And if you want to be a channel member like Nick, we blew past our goal of 3 this week, but there's a pinned comment that's a link. It's only $5 a month. You get an exclusive video every week, and you join the community to help support the channel and build the next streaming setup. So we got, maybe that'll be a channel member video. We'll do like a preview of the next streaming setup. That's right on that side of the office in my own basement, but no. So click that link and check it out. I encourage you guys to at least give it a shot, or at least, see what you think about the idea of supporting. Here we go about the next one, and this one's a little bit better. Like, Gandalf's a little bit better. And again, art, fantastic. Like, it's so cool. This art is so cool. It's just like, this is one of the easier ones to read, and it's a bit it's all over the place. Like, Mount Doom, another okay one to read. It's okay. This one's okay to read. This one's okay to read. It's not the best, but this one is better than some of the other examples we've seen. This one's so, again, the art's awesome. The art's awesome. It's just hard to read. So we've seen a lot of the previews here, but I want to get to something that's extremely important when it comes to Lord of the Rings. So I know we're going to be moving on to Pokemon here in a second, because there's a lot going on with Pokemon that we 100% have to talk about. But there's something extremely interesting with this Magic release that I did not see coming, and that I think could be a massive, massive win. Let's see where we ended up with the poll before we jump over to the next topic. What is that? Is Standard ever coming back in paper? And you guys are fairly split down the middle. 27 votes, 55% says no, 44% says yes. YouTube, guess what? That doesn't make 100%. So I will be the tiebreaker, and I will say, as much as I want it to, I don't know. It's up in the air. As we go on, we got something really important to talk about before we jump over to Pokemon sales day, or sales data. But Uncle Chris says Mordor looks dope. Listen, Uncle Chris, I think this is your first time in the chat for the stream, so freaking welcome. We're glad to have you join us. And Mordor does look really cool. Would have made sense to go with a 30s or 40s typography treatment rather than the 70s. I think the argument is, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, feel free, and I know you guys love doing this, and mostly because you guys are in touch with like the Lord of the Rings lore, but I was hearing that it's because Lord of the Rings became like this major explosive IP and this like cult classic, and it developed this like niche following and started to grow in the 60s and the 70s. It became really like kind of like the off-kilter thing to follow along with, and started to explode in that era. So that's why they took some of this art and replicated it to be art of the era in which Lord of the Rings really started to come into its own and become beloved by everybody. So that's something that I've heard. If I'm way wrong on that, feel free to let me know, but that is what I think. Gordon Kane, hold on, Gordon, you got a couple messages here. I don't know if I ever come back to Magic, but there's no more paper standard. It won't return to MTG, and it's focused on Commander. The lack of standard is why Lorcana is going bonkers. Lorcana is going bonkers. We got some Lorcana to talk. And also, Gordon, I think this is the first time I've seen you in chat. So you and Uncle Chris, and if I missed anybody else who's a first-time chatter, let me know right now. But awesome to have you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Good freaking morning. Yo, so the card is supposed to be a game piece, and have to be obvious what it does. It's meant to be admired. Like, yeah, and that's fair, and I guess that's my biggest rub with it. And that's why I say, I respect that I'm wrong, and it's just not for me. But this is where things get interesting. And where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. In addition to the 4 scene boxes, Wizard of the Coast will also be rolling out new special edition collector boosters for Tales of Middle-earth around the same time, which is potentially include any of 20 cards from the original set. So any of 20 cards from the original set. So there's only going to be, from my understanding, only going to be 20 cards from the original Lord of the Rings here. Only 20 cards with brand new styles, as well as rare serialized versions of these cards up through number 100. Let me read that again. As well as rare serialized versions of these cards numbered up through 100. Up through 100. Josh Smith says, is it 20 cards per pack? Any of 20 cards from the original set in it. No, I don't think it's going to be 20 cards per pack. I think this is going to be, it's saying, will potentially include any of 20 cards from the original set. Maybe. That 100% true. But that right there. As well as serialized versions of these cards up through number 100. Oh my God. Do we know what this means? What card is in the original Lord of the Rings set? Chat, what card is in the original Lord of the Rings set? When you think original Lord of the Rings, what comes to mind? Huh? What comes to mind? What comes to mind, chat? Is it the One Ring? Oh, the One Ring's in the original. Josh, don't you do it. Don't you blow up my take, Josh. Josh Smith, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Is the One Ring in the original Lord of the Rings set? Josh, you know I'm kidding, right? I don't mind. That was a great take. Good job. No, Josh, I'm just kidding. I thought we were here. We have the same name, buddy. I thought we were here. Anyway, is the One Ring in the original Lord of the Rings set? Is the One Ring one of the potential 20 cards that we could see serialized 100 versions of? Would you put it past Wizards of the Coast? Would you do it? How wild is that gonna be? If the One Ring is a serialized card in this set. Magic's Lord of the Rings set has already been making headlines with special serialized cards. Oh, you don't say. Someone is working on their collection of Brothers War serialized cards as we speak. You don't say. So the Post Malone for a whopping $2 million. You read our full interview with Mike Turan, Sarah Wassel, if any fancy unboxings. Is this a brand new kind of product for Magic? Why return to making scenes and why like this? And this is an interesting answer I just want to talk about. When we created scenes for the initial release of Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth this past June, we knew we had struck upon something special. And that is true. People really took to these. The way the borderless scene cards came together to form these iconic moments in a novel and stunning way was incredible. By bringing the scene cards together into a single product, it really lets us highlight these cards individually and offer ways to display the Lord of the Rings card in the only way that Magic can. I think this is a massive win. And I think they've done some of what they talked about here. And again, you can read the IGN article. It talks about really embodying the characters and making the scenes feel thematic. This was a massive win. I think the new Lord of the Rings set it's turning out to be much more hyped. It's going to be much more hyped, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that is a bit concerning. And let's pop this over, and then we're going to talk about Pokemon sales data, because there's some craziness going on there. So here's a special edition collector booster display. Let's pop over, and I'll have to resize the chat because we just sized it for that IGN article. So as we shrink here and stand by and pull up some of this, here's something interesting about this product. that is going to be worth mentioning, at least in my opinion, and something you will hear me mention on the channel. So listen, if you're here, early preview. So here's the product. We got it right here in front of us, and if you'll notice, if you'll just direct your attention to the setup that we've built here, it's worth noting that this thing's going off on TCG Player for $347 right now. Pretty cheap product. Pretty cheap product so far. But this is the concerning part. I know it's super early. I'm aware that this product doesn't come out till November. But like, not a ton of traction. It's super early. Don't be unfair. Don't be unfair. Don't be unfair. It's super early. But oh me, oh my. This should have been here, or this should have been a little bit more expensive. Oh my God, Chad Hendrickson, welcome to the regular enthusiast. Thank you for supporting the channel. Another channel member that's signed up for exclusive content, access to all of my sales data, custom emotes, channel badges, the whole 9 yards. Chad, welcome. Welcome. Thank you, thank you. Let's see, hold on. Where's my, it's supposed to be showing you an alert. Why is it not showing an alert saying, hey, you did it? Chat, my alerts are broken. My alerts are broken. Anyway, it's supposed to show you a cool alert that you joined, but Chad, here's the alert. You get just a hand clap. Thank you for joining and thank you for your support. I thought we'd see more traction about this product, to be honest with you, and we're just not. But it's time. Let's shift focus here, and I want you to hang in this one. If you're here for the Magic content, this is pertinent to Magic. I believe this is important, so I want you to hang on here as we shift a bit of focus and talk about 151 sales. I really do think this is an important conversation, and it has to do with the entire TCG ecosystem. So hang on and just bear with me as we talk about some Pokemon 151. Again, I wouldn't do this to you if I didn't think it all had a purpose. It all really ties the room together, if you will, to take a line from the dude. It all really ties the room together. Let's pull up some sales data. Let's make sure we have this as big as it needs to be, because there is some stuff to talk about here. In fact, as I make this bigger, I might even make myself a bit smaller, because A, you guys don't necessarily need to see me, but I do think that we need to see this. So what I have here is the sold listings on sealed product for Pokemon 151. That's right, this is every single sold listing of sealed product on TCG Player for the 3 main products. Now, I talked to both my May the Zoo Be With You podcast co-hosts, who are awesome, amazing people over on Kitchen Table TCG. We'll end the stream watching the opening of that podcast. And if you haven't subscribed over at Kitchen Table TCG, be sure you do so. I like the homeboys got some good content. But I asked about what products we should track and kind of what we should be looking at as far as from a Pokemon perspective, and I got 3 major answers across the majority of the people that I spoke to. And it was ETBs, booster bundle cases, and booster bundles and UPCs. So the Ultra Premium Collection. So that's what we decided to go with. That's what we're tracking today. And I want to get into some of this information before we wrap things up with this and talk about Lorcana. So we have right here Pokemon 151 sales data, and we see something that we don't normally see in Magic the Gathering. We see a really balanced set of sales. Now, I talked earlier with the Lord of the Rings conversation about how some of the products felt Pokemonized, right? The scene bundles feel like kind of your ETBs, your lower point of entry. You get a smaller amount of packs, but you get to do it over and over again. But you don't ever see this kind of balance. And we are seeing this kind of balance. I think that represents a really healthy ecosystem. But we are seeing something similar we see in Magic the Gathering, where most of the spend, when you got a balanced ecosystem, it's all about the price of the product, and the price of the UPC is definitely a high one. And because of that, when we take a look at the popularity of some of these products, you see leading up to release, the UPC sales have slowed down a little bit and become less popular, where the more affordable products, the ETB and the Booster Bundle, are absolutely popping off. Heck, on 9/21, which would have been just yesterday, we sold 217 ETBs on TCG Player. Like, this product is doing extremely well, especially at the time of release, and we knew we were going to kind of speed up coming up to the time of release. Now, this number in the top left corner is the total number of boxes sold, and for those who might be either driving or can't see this one, it is 7,564, and that number to me is alarming, because what Pokemon chose to do here is they chose to dip into that nostalgia well. They chose to reach into the nostalgia well and pull on some of our heartstrings and say, hey, all that Magic Boomer talk, we were having a conversation at the start of the stream with Pinky Up and sipping coffee, which, by the way, don't mind if I do. A little caffeine nipperoonie. They tried to reach into that community, and, well, it hasn't responded in ways that have been as meaningful. Now, it's important to note, and it's pertinent, that Pokemon sells really, really well at the local game store. Pokemon is something that, you go into hobby shops, you sit at Walmart, you sit at Target, you're familiar, you see a Pokemon product, and you're 100% familiar with that product. You're like, oh, I know what this is. I recognize it. It's, if you're not a trading card game fan, if you don't know Magic, if you don't know Lorcana, if you don't know this, you see Pokemon and you're like, I know Pokemon. Like, that rings a bell. So I think it's going to have a lot better, like, just random, unplanned, off-the-shelf sales than a lot of these other trading card games that we talked about. But it's pertinent to note that as far as on TCG Player, a place for people who consistently engage with trading card games, these sales are not as good as they could be. Like, this does not go nearly as well as it could, and because of that, I believe we are seeing the trading card game market as a whole begin to slow. Now, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and why does this matter for Magic the Gathering? Well, Pokemon does something different than Magic the Gathering does, and it's something that we've talked about ad nauseum on this channel and on various podcasts. And what Pokemon does is it sparks the joy in the collector and the nostalgia, and pulls you into this real world IP. And we give Magic a hard time about the IP a lot. Like, Magic's using Lord of the Rings, Magic's using Doctor Who, which, by the way, all of you guys are Doctor Who haters. I don't like Doctor Who, and I think the set's gonna pop off. I'm standing on that hill. I think we're going to be surprised. But we're seeing these outside IPs, and we're criticizing Wizards of the Coast a lot for their use of these outside IPs. You can't build up the story behind Jace. You can't build up the story behind Nissa, so you have to reach into these outside IPs. Magic would die without outside IPs. Well, in fairness, the whole trading card game market, as it exists today, is experiencing a downtrend, it seems. And Pokemon, who has lived off their IP and their own collectability for the better part of a decade, they're taking a hit. You can't convince me that this set wasn't supposed to be an extremely important release for Pokemon. It wasn't supposed to embody something like what Lord of the Rings do, what Master Sets do for Magic the Gathering. And I think because of that hit, we are going to see Pokemon actually coming down and falling out of favor a little bit. Magic the Gathering has something Pokemon doesn't. People are playing Magic the Gathering, and they're playing it consistently. Again, we bang on Commander all the time, but there are millions of Commander games played every single day. People are sitting at the table and playing the game. And when you're sitting at the table playing a game, you find an above and beyond reason to engage with a product release. You self-justify, and you do this brain ninjaing on yourself to get you to buy Magic the Gathering products. And when you do that, it finds that the product is going to have a bit more consistency in times of hardship, or times when other things might be falling down, than those that just merely pull at your heartstrings. And Magic learned this. I mean, look, I got a Time Spiral Remastered box somewhere over here, and Dominaria Remastered is famously just a fun set that I love engaging with. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time to play, but just pulling at our heartstrings only took Wizards of the Coast so far, right? And the more they pull at our heartstrings, the less ability they're going to have to do that in the future, right? We're not falling in love with sets like we used to. You could convince me that Throne of Eldraine Remastered has no chance of being as good as Time Spiral Remastered did. Like, as someone famously said to Paul Pierce, they don't love you like that, right? When you talk about Wilds of Eldraine and Throne of Eldraine. Time Spiral was at a time where like people were falling in love with Magic sets, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So I think we're seeing this, and I think this shows us a sign that Magic the Gathering is going the way of the player, and that is a massive win. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean? This to me means that I'm going to have an opportunity to build out some of my collections. This showing me that something based solely 100% on collectability, and let's pop over and check some 151 prices, but something based completely on collectability is not doing as well as anticipated. That doesn't mean it's dying, that doesn't mean it's dead, that doesn't mean it's completely faltering. And I will answer your chat in a second, hating on my word engaging. We'll answer that in a second. That does not mean any of that negativity, but it does mean that, you know, the landscape is different than it was, and you know, that might be okay here. But I think for me, personally, that means there's an opportunity to maybe fill out some of the collections that I really liked. And if we take a look and we sort high to low and just initially on release, we're seeing like, hey, there's some big hits. There's some bangers. But historically for Pokemon sets, like, and especially for something I would have expected from 151, it's not as popping off as I thought it would be. I mean, heck, I looked at this morning and I thought, listen, I liked Pokemon as a kid. Maybe I'll spend a couple bucks and pick up some of this stuff as soon as it keeps going down, as the community rejects it, or not even rejects it, but just like as the prices fall to what might be more normalized levels. So I do believe that there's an opportunity for me personally to collect some of this stuff, to continue filling out my Brothers War serialized card set, to finish up my collection of player rewards promos that you guys have followed along on the stream journey with. The binder's looking good. We got to start getting some of the initial set. It's always weird to see the Hypnotic Spectre, where when the print run changed in the player rewards promos to the full art stuff. The first two runs were like Psychotog, which by the way, full art Psychotog being like $2 or $3 or foil Psychotog in promo was just dope, and the Hypnotic Spectre being not full art was a weird touch. But I think there's a chance for me to continue to build out my collections, and I'm excited for stuff like that. As far as Aeneas saying stop saying engaging, I am an old man. I'm about to hang up the stream and go to work. I'm in work mindset. The word engaging is just like, what would you like me to replace it with? Buying, selling, trading, playing, and collecting? Like, engaging is just cleaner. Guys, this has been so much fun. Before we go today, the last thing I want to do is answer some of you. If you have any questions in chat, put them in chat right now as we wrap up the stream. I want to look at Lorcana sales, and then as you guys know, I have a tendency to run this stream a couple minutes long. We're going to run a couple minutes after. I want to ask that you hit the subscribe button before you leave today, because I think we're going to go live a couple times this week. In the upcoming week, we got a couple live streams out of nowhere planned. So say engaging more, it's more engaging. Matthew gets it. Matthew Pruitt. And Aeneas, I am not dunking on you. I'm just saying I have speech patterns that I can't escape as a content creator. And listen, I'm always working on. I'm working to expand my vocabulary at every chance I get. And the last thing I want to do, the first chapter, let's check out prices. Let's pop over to May the Zoo be with you, and let's end this stream. Let's pop over. Here we go. The first chapter, Disney's Lorcana. Booster boxes still sitting around $375 to $380, kind of bouncing in there. Booster cases sitting at $1,700. I still think, again, Ravensburger all but said they want to print this thing into the ground. So booster box prices being high. I love Lorcana. I'm not even buying anything right now because, like somebody said, they want to print a bunch of it. Like it seems a bit silly to me. But these enchanted cards, they're very sweet looking. And the fact that the Genie is one of the more affordable ones, like, there might just be a way that I can get that done. I don't know. It's very tempting. There's a lot of TCG things vying for my wallet attention. The booster case here that we see in the top right being almost $400 is a bit wild. I expect Lorcana to keep coming down. Make sure I'll do a Lorcana video this week. I love talking about Lorcana. I think it's exciting to talk about. I think there's a lot going on. This has been a lot of fun. We might not even have time to pop over. No, we have to. We have to pop over to May the Zoo be with you, right? Like we can't not. Would that be cheating? If we didn't end the stream with May the Zoo be with you, Would that be cheating? Would that be cheating? I want to know. Here we go. This, if you don't know, is from the podcast Kitchen Table on Kitchen Table TCG, titled May the Zoo Be With You. These have become some of my very close friends. I know that I can do better. Listen, Yoko, just because you're right doesn't mean you got to throw it in my face. Just because you're correct. We don't. This is a feelings not facts stream, Yoko. I'm going to click this share button. As you guys leave here, here is the link. Engage became Wizard Afraid. I thought you were doing it on purpose. Are you not aware of what they said? Like, I'm aware, but like I've been saying engage with trading card game products since before I was a main Magic the Gathering channel. So I just can't. I don't know. I haven't changed my vernacular, my vocabulary. But let's tune down the music. Let's tune down the music. Let's get the chill. Let's put the chill back in lo-fi chill. Let's crank up the stream volume. Headphone warning, possibly. Let's see.
I hate you so much.
I hate you so much.
This is the absolute best podcast we've ever done.
Okay. I do hate them both so much.
You're drunk off a Michelob. This is depressing. Whoa. Welcome to May the Zoo Be
George's
With You,
new thing.
America's
I don't
most
like George's
alcohol-
new thing. I have a beer when we shoot the podcast, and he tries to claim that I'm drunk. Not a fan. Not a fan, George. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. If you haven't, I put the link in chat. Make sure you are subscribed to Kitchen Table TCG. Gordon, welcome. Matthew, might be the first time. Matthew, Gordon, Uncle Chris, the first time I've seen you guys in stream. Aeneas, I believe it's the first time I've seen you in stream as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week. This has been so much fun. Keith Foster, LGS, I'm worried about the fake Lorcana products hitting eBay. Like, listen, that could be a concern. George, I'm buying Lorcana to play. I don't care about the collectability, the Disney IP. Devin Mychan, OG, on the channel from the beginning, channel member. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. I actually have to get to work. I am running behind. Matthew said it. Very engaged. Oh, engaging is just going to be a channel meme now. Oh my God. Aeneas, what have you done? You have created the next meme. It's going to haunt my dreams. Matthew, you are leaning into the meme. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Again, channel memberships, if you haven't yet, consider it. Exclusive content, 1 video per week, access to all my sales data, custom emotes, channel badges, fun things like that. And until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and this is, God, what a great day to start. What a great way to start my Friday. All right, we'll see you guys around. Goodbye. I need a stream ending graphic. It's going to say stream starting. It's ending. Oh, God, Robert. Oh, okay, I'm leaving. Oh, God.